stream. Making sure everything's up and running. Seems like we should be up and running. Don't see myself yet. Just pulling some refresh. Alright, we're up and running. Let me know how audio is. Let me know. Yeah, I think it might be a little loud. I'm just gonna turn it down a bit. So today's stream title is Bear Market Synopsis. I've been thinking that markets can actually like survive this atmosphere, and then you took a couple of maybe like a week and a day off streaming, so like didn't stream 4 times, just kind of regrouping, and coming to some conclusions and stuff. Sometimes it's best to like step away and get a big picture and come back, and kind of led me to conclude that we're not done, right? BTC's not done dipping. Historically, looking at this chart, we've seen a certain level, right? You guys in VIP, these moving average that I'm using, but like this white line, right, hold up to a bear market bottom. And also another thing we've seen historically is we've never seen BTC dip below the red line, right, and not make it to white. And this was the 2015 bear break, right? This is the 2018 bear break, 2019, 2018. And COVID, we dipped down to it, below it. It was more of a liquidity grab than an actual bear market, right? But then, as soon as we got a close in and open above, right? That was literally like when we started going up, is that close up here followed by this open at the same level back at 5400. Now historically we've seen these MAs hold up to bear markets, right? Pretty much marked the bear market low. Yes, there was some price action below, but I'm writing a paper on Medium about this. It's going to be a long one. It'll probably be out, I'd say Friday. So when we see this consolidation, and then that's where the chart went up, right? So looking at this historically, I can only assume that we're basically headed in the same trajectory. Not to say that we can't see a bear market rally, right, or some kind of bull trap like we saw back here, right before actual COVID smackdown, right? The likelihood of seeing that big of a move up, I'm uncertain about it, but I'd like to see some kind of support hold. This is BLX, right? So it's not in real time. It'll change on the close today. So I'd like to maybe see a 61.8 retracement back to like the swing high. Puts us back at like 36. Doesn't seem too far-fetched. Maybe 34,455, right, before coming back down. But I wouldn't declare a bottom until we at least test this white line, and I wouldn't think we're ready to rally back up until we clear it like we have in the past, right? So that's kind of why I'm calling this stream Bear Market Synopsis. What's going on, Delilah? Good morning. Let's look at BTC USD in real time. So am I saying Bitcoin's heading to 20K? I believe Bitcoin's headed to 20K, right? Like that's everybody that's asked me, everybody that's messaged me, everybody that's texted me. I'm like, dude, like I really genuinely think 20K is the magic number. Now, are we seeing support above? I mean, based on these extensions, right? We saw 26,800 hold up, right? And now it looks like we're coming back down to test it. 30K bearish, still being sold off, right? What's going on the daily? Daily still selling, right? So that's why I'm calling this the bear market synopsis. If you want to look at this in real time. The reason I was using BLX is because it's the only chart that actually has the 2015 bear market, right? And we look at this one, like we'll know when it's time to long and like go all in and like, you know, second mortgage type shit. When we start seeing when we go to 20K, that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, like in foresight or in hindsight, I was looking for a failed 61.8 here, right, or even here, so I can short it because I don't like shorting support. And this was a 50. It looked incomplete. Well, it's looking grim and bearish, right? Can we see a bear market rally? Yes, we can. We can see like a small up move, maybe like a 1 week rally or something. But ideally, I feel like the sooner we get down to 21,000, the sooner we can get out of this muck, and the sooner the shit show's over, right? Can we dip below? Maybe. You know, if we like I was drawing some extensions for the Medium paper I'm writing, and you know where this thing ended, like this is wild. Looking at fib extensions on a previous move like that, right? If we take this last range, just swing low, swing high, it was literally a 1.618 extension down from this previous swing, all right? So, and then we saw a lot of support up here, and then this was also on the retest of 5,300. It took off. I'm not saying we're going to see the same kind of bounce. What I'm saying is, I think we're heading to 21K, and there's nothing we can do about it. This type of previous range doesn't look as sexy as this one to run a fib extension on. But if I wanted to like try to be as accurate as possible on if we repeat, like I think we're going to 21K, all right? The fibs don't quite line up, right? Maybe 23K. Let's see what 23K does, right? And 28.44 failing now is not going to be like good looking for bulls. We're looking at Ether today. We opened the short on ETH, and it's been selling off since we did. So ETH hasn't really acted on these MAs like BTC has. It's also because they're pretty long-term moving averages. It hasn't really had the opportunity to, right? The only time it actually broke above it was in 2020, and this kind of, if it's gonna do it, I like what I think BTC is gonna do, then we're looking at like 1100 for Ether. I think this one will make more sense if we fib this range. It's still giving me an extension above, so we'll see how it plays out. I don't think this is done. And yes, like these MAs are pretty consistent, right? They gave us the top, and when was this? You guys can't see the date. Let me fix that. Let me fix that. I'm sorry. There we go. So the 2019 high, right? He also gave us the top once again in 2020. And then once we had the flip, right? Once we had this resistance flip on this MA, we saw the run take off. And conversely here, this was 2018, August 2018. When you close below, we dumped. So, you know, these are my like bear market end all be all indicators that I use to basic clients. And that's what they're saying. That's what they're telling me right now. Now, one thing that looks interesting on ETH is we're coming up to a fib support, right? I'm going to get rid of these MAs. We're coming up to fib support. And I think we're right at it. I think it's like 1926, 19 something. 1908 is the magic number. Right, and we've seen this level hold up previously, 1914. So if this ends up bouncing here, that's good, right? Maybe we could see a move that we can short, but ideally, I want to see this come down to like that 1100 range, and then at that point I'd be comfortable like opening up futures positions on max leverage and try to put myself in a position to like capitalize on a bigger move. I can't tell how, like, there's no way to tell really how extended this bear market is going to be. There's no way to figure that out, so I'm not gonna like say, oh, it's gonna be another 2-year bear market, but I can only go off price. We talked about it in Discord about closing or short at 1978. I want to see what 1933 does, and I want to see what 1911 does too. Like if we wick here and get a close at 1933, then at that point I'd want to hedge along. Maybe we can ride this up. I think the next ride up would probably put us a little higher, like 24.86, which would be beautiful short from 24 to 11, right? Like I want to short a bull trap. I don't like shorting support. Like it doesn't feel good, right? Okay, I covered ETH and BTC. Let's look at ES. Looks like we're ringing my 50% fib. I might pop over there, hedge along. Not sure yet what I want to do. Should have a limit order on a sub account at like 1935. Let's see what that does. So yeah, if we get a bounce here, that would be beautiful, right? I do have a sub account long that just got filled at 1936. We should see it like be vigorous if we do get that bump. If not, then it's gonna be a shit show. All right. Let's look at ES, right? Last year I was talking about like how I think the FOMC is going to be bullish, and we're going to see an up rally, and we saw that. And the very next day, the market continued dumping. We do know that, like, even though there is correlation, but stocks tend to, at least indices tend to outperform BTC in bear markets, and that's just going off. Like the S&P doesn't sell off 80%, right? But BTC does. So, I mean, going off 2018, I'm just going to go to weekly chart. Right here, right? Like throughout this whole bear market, I don't think the S&P sold off nearly as much. I think the biggest drop on this index was 21%. Meanwhile, the biggest drop on BTC was freaking 83, right? So, is it a safe haven? I guess my point of bringing this up is we could see indices. We're probably going to see indices hold up better than BTC. If history repeats itself. If it doesn't, then it's going to look sketchy. What's going on? So we saw on the weekly. That's good. Let's run up some extensions. I was seeing some extension support, kind of like what I highlighted on ETH a minute ago. It's going to be off these highs. Looks like we're losing that support. Let me just get this nice and tight. $39.67.75. We're at $39.67.25, right? So, if we're gonna see either turn or if we're gonna see some kind of bear market rally, the S&P kind of needs to find support here too, right? This looks almost like a TD sequential one. How many weeks of selling? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're on a 7. Not quite ready for a pump. Let's do that. Let's do TD sequential. And if this keeps selling off, I think like 30.55 is not out of reach, guys. Like I think this can get pretty ugly even on stocks. Weekly's not really showing much. It's a red 6, so continuation, maybe a 3-day. Oh, the 3-day printed a 9. Look at that. Right? So the 3-day TD sequential printed a 9. Right at the 39.6775 level. So at this point, right, we can get rid of the indicators. And, it's looking at this smaller move. Let's get rid of this circle. I'm not an artist, right? So looking at this move, it kind of like consolidated. We're retesting support. If we see a rally here, we're sub 50, so it needs to close above 39.74. At 39.7 keeps coming up, right? And if we get a close here, then I'd imagine we get another push off and another sender. Probably to like 41.50, 41.36 or so. Alright, but to me, this looks like a head fake. To Gats in Discord, this looks like a head fake. So we'll see how this one plays out. I think even if you go through like a bear market rally for a few days, like it's good. It's gonna like give the market some relief, give us an opportunity to short, and yeah. All right, next up, I'm going to cover the NQ. For you guys, you want to show me some tickers? Go ahead and start typing them. I'll get to them after the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, ironically, looks a lot different, right? We know that tech has been beat up the most throughout this correction. And ironically, I don't think we've seen the NASDAQ go lower than my white moving average on the daily in quite some time. Like I was looking at the NDX the other day because that was the most data. Right, so this tends to be one of these critical levels that must hold, right, on tech. Like you see this hold up 2016. We saw it held up in 2019. We saw it hold up COVID crash, right? This was like the December 2018 correction. So we're basically retraced back quite a bit. And like the last time before entering this, like, was referred to as like the 10-year bull run, it's almost been a 12-year bull run, right? The last time we got a touch here was July 2010. So a lot to me points that we should see some kind of bear market rally, right? And I don't think it's going to send anything to a new all-time high. I think it's going to be just that, like a bear market rally. And once we get that bear market rally, then we can ride the train on down to hell to like $21,000 BTC and $1,100 Ether. So that is my bear market synopsis in 20 minutes. All right, let's see what Delilah has for us. BNB USD. Historically, I know BNB's acted as a hedge. Let's see what it's done on like the 2-day on these MAs. Jeez, man, 141. Man, no comment. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this chart, right? Based on like everything else I've seen, I think this could go lower, right? Like I think it has to. Like a few months ago, like a year ago, when I was saying ADA's going to like 30 cents, a lot of you guys thought I was like being stupid, right? Or like just having a bear bias towards ADA, and I'm like, no, like I really think this thing's going to hell. And it was when it was still being chopping here, and we'd get a fake out and a fake out and a head fake, right? But the reason I said that, I think I had this drawn up. Puts it way lower. Well, I mean, it's not quite there yet, but like, even if you go like off this last low, right? I was thinking that we should ring like 40. I think I had 30 cents as my target. and it was off like this low, right? So by doing the same thing on BNB, if it follows that same trajectory, I rung 213, but I mean, it looks like it's lagging behind ADA. If you look at these charts, it looks like it wants to test liquidity. I wouldn't be surprised if it hits 158. Now, granted, I'm not saying it's going to happen right now, but like this would be my buy level on BNB, right? Like this would be like bear market low if this was to continue dipping. Like, yeah, and if we were to be in a shit bear market. All right. AVAX USDT. Jesus. So if you guys are just not tuning in, I highlighted what I think is going to happen to BTC and Ether. To assume that any other coin is going to hold up during that, I mean, you have to know some insider information or something. Let's go to maybe a 3-day chart. I'd say bearish. I mean, I think everything's bearish right now. If we do get a relief rally, it'd be a good exit. This thing was able to hold up, right? Like, God, these charts are gotten so convoluted with wicks up high, wicks down low. All right. If this holds, if 27.9 holds, right, and we get a turn in markets, like an uptick, like a relief rally, and I would say this is probably a good level to like DCA as long as one takes the sell at 52, right, or even 46. So I think this can come down to 27.9 and then come up to 52. I'm just going to draw this here. And we could see something like this, right? And then if we're going to go into sudden death or like after bull trap, just kind of dump, right? Like, then we're looking at 14. That's what I think on AVAX. Sol. Man, I remember when Sol was raging and everybody's like, it's at 300. Should I buy? And if it goes to 1,000, I'm like, no, like run away. It's back at 50. Jesus, what do we got? Damn, Ford is down to $12. All right. Conversely, looking at Sol, I'd want to see 44.69 hold, right? If it doesn't, then Solana's probably heading lower, right? Probably 26. If it does hold up, then that's a good thing. And like these levels are probably going to be like 61.8 retracements of the smaller move. Let me just validate that. Bam, right? Like, let's go on a 4 hour. This more accurately. All right, yeah, I think like 45.6, 44.19. If we get a bounce there, right, then we can assume that we're going up. But looking at this, I mean, that's a classic bear flag. It should continue down. But like these are the support. I'm highlighting support levels that I see that we could potentially hope that volume comes in and buys these tokens back up, right? All right, .USD, Polkadot. Jeez. Excuse me. Sorry for yawning. Should have covered my face. Man, this thing bounced right off 6.9. I'd look for like 8.98, maybe 8.3 or 7.8. I would look for these three levels. And yeah, nothing is screaming like super bullish, right? Like single candle bottom, or like, yeah, I don't. Link USD. Man, I tried to buy some spot Link and I got stopped out. And like one thing that's really different about this sell-off is, unlike all the other sell-offs we've seen in the last year, we don't have Luna, right? Luna's not around to show us a 61.8. Like every single sell-off that we've had in these corrections, the first bottom on the chart was a Luna 61.8, right? And we basically longed every single one of those. And it was always good, but now there's no more Luna, right? So, and the fact that nothing's holding up at a 61.8 is frustrating. So Lincoln down to 5.4. I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so, 5.47 held up. I don't know, man. So I'm a Link bull, right? Like, I like Link. I think if Link's gonna freaking rally, like, now's the time, right? It's holding up. Then we could see 6.6. What was the low here? 6.85. You probably see 6.61, 6.303, and then a continuation up. This could bounce right here. I know, but like, remember in like 2018 or December sell-off, early 2018, Link did its first all-time high run during a BTC sell-off, right? January 8. So remember, Link was flying during a BTC sell-off, and a market-wide sell-off, and then, it's kind of lost a lot of steam. So I don't know what the Link Marines have under their sleeve, or if they're still even there. If they got Do Kwon, I don't know. But like historically, these fibs have held up to the scrutiny and the test of the market. So 4.6 is entry would be great, right? If not, then like maybe 3.4, which would put it back at like, what was COVID? Jeez, under $1. Crazy. All right, fam bam. Thank you guys for tuning in at today's stream. Thanks for your chart shows. I'll be back on Friday. Had to take a break just to get conceptualize a bigger idea, and yeah, we'll track the synopsis as it goes. I'm gonna finish writing the paper I've got on BTC probably, I'd say, like tomorrow, maybe Friday morning. And I'll put it out. The link is on it'll be on Medium. There should be a link to our Medium and the links. If there's not, send me a DM. Until then, I'll be in Discord. Yeah, things are looking grim. Anyways, guys, trade safe. I hope I, kind of prepared you for the worst of the worst. If we go below those levels, then like it's gonna get even worse. But at least, it gives us a good idea, a good range of what we want to interact with. All right, fam bam, thank you for tuning in at today's stream. I'll catch you again on Friday. You guys be good. Take care of your mental health, and yeah, don't let the charts F you up.